been with Magic Ears, there's been a lot of people that have been interested and wanted to know if I could make a video on various things of Magic Ears. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. As you know, the page that we're on, the Love to Teach ESL online ESL style, is still up and running, and we continue to get more members. And it's been working out great, keeping it vague and not just to one company. However, I just wanted to reiterate again that since I am admin of the page and I do work for Magic Ears solely now, I will be the person to refer off our page for Magic Ears. However, there are other companies that people talk about, and that's totally okay. And like I said, as long as we kind of follow all those guidelines that we've been using just to remain positive, respectful, encouraging, and all those things. So today's video is just going to kind of run through a bit of Magic Ears. I've been with Magic Ears since August, and I am now a junior teacher, and there's rankings to that, which we'll talk about in a bit. You start out as a freshman, and then it goes to benchmark, and then junior, senior, and then it's called Magic Masters. So basically, when I started after freshman, I taught 10 classes, and I actually jumped to junior. And then once you hit 100 classes, as long as feedback is positive and things like that, then you can transfer to rank up to senior teacher. And then the highest is Magic Master, and we'll talk about all that as far as bookings and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my page. Just let me remember how to do this. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and just share my page, and it should work. Okay, so let's go ahead, and here's the page that we're all working with together. Love to Teach Online ESL style. And as you can see, we are ranking up in members here. It's by the day growing, and I love that. I'm glad we decided to keep it. So that's good. But I wanted to go ahead and, for those of you that are new to the page that I just added today, this first page, or this first section, has my referral code. So if anyone is interested in Magic Ears, this is the referral code that you click on to be attached to me. But as we go through the website or through the page, many times you want to just search my name right here. You should see various posts. Now, a lot of the old data stuff, posts come up, but as you can see here, here's one that's recent. This has my referral code on there. So anyway, there's a lot of ways to find it, and also you can message me, of course, things like that. So that is where you can find my referral code. Now, I want to talk about referrals and why it's important to click on the link that I give you. And you giving to people once you're hired as well. So obviously, the elephant in the room is that you do get paid for referrals. Now, Magic Ears used to pay, when they were fairly newer, they would pay $10 for every application. So that was great money, obviously. However, people were referring just anyone and everyone, not even close to being qualified or following the guidelines of Magic Ears. And so just to get that $10. And so they had to put a cap on it and say, okay, we're not doing that. It's going to be like all the other companies, basically. You apply, once people get hired, and I believe after they teach so many classes, then you will get paid. It is my understanding that after up to the first 3 referrals, it's $50 per person, I believe. And then also after your 3rd person, it's $70 per person. So obviously that money does help. And when I do refer you, I do get paid if you are hired after so many classes of good ratings, okay? Just like with any ESL company. But as you get hired, you then have a code, and actually before you even get hired, you also can start referring and getting paid. I don't believe you have to be an employee with them per se to get paid for that. Now they do have to work for a while and yada yada, but you can do that. I only ask, like I said, that you refer off people you know versus people off of our page for Magic Ears. So please make sure you're not messaging behind, you know, and things like that, just because this is the page that I run. And so I just ask that respectfully. So as far as referrals go, yes, you do get paid for that. But the other reason that it is important for you to click on the link, for me personally, that I give you is because when you do that, you will show up under me, okay? So as you can see, there's a lot of people that have applied. There's quite a few people that have applied. I do want to go back to the fact that Magic Years is very quick, actually, to respond. For the most part, it is getting busier. They are growing, which is even more of a reason to apply, because they're getting so many kids and they need teachers. Another reason they need teachers is because they have no sick penalties. When you're sick, your family's sick, emergencies, they don't require that you give them a doctor's note. Trust me on this, I have been sick quite a bit in the last month and a half. And I have literally not been able to work for 2 weeks in the past, in November. And they were fabulous. They're wonderful. No penalties. Are very understanding. But because of that policy, they do need many teachers to back up and do standbys for those teachers that are sick. So, or having babies, emergencies, whatever it is, deaths, things like that. So they're very good like that. So going back to referral, you end up on my list, and I'm not on there because I don't want to disclose too many people's names. I want to try to keep it as private as possible. But you end up on that list that I showed. And on that list, I'm able to update it each day and see where you are in the process. And typically it will say apply, training, trial, or interview. I'm out of order, but anyway. And then finally, when you sign or you're contracted, it tells me when you were contracted, and it keeps track of how many classes you've taught and how many days you've been in Magic Years, kind of for me to see, you know, maybe for me to find out when I'm going to be paid, but it also helps the person that clicked on my link to move the process along further. For example, many of you have applied and some of you maybe didn't hear back yet or something like that, and maybe on my end it wasn't updated. So I'm able to go look up your name, put an email into Magic Years, and they immediately, within their hours, email me back and say, all right, we've added that person, or kind of give me the status of where you are. So that's the other reason why I need you to click on my link, and then as you need to do when you start referring people as well. So I hope that part makes sense. But like I said, you will end up on my list like you saw. Okay. This section right here is the main portal. Now with Magic Years, it's confusing in the beginning because there's 2 places that you mess around with Magic Years. This is the screen that is your main screen, okay? This is where you open bookings, you sign up for workshops, you look at your class and where you go to get feedback, and also what feedback you were given by the students and the families. Your pay slip, which is a breath of fresh air for me coming from another company who, other than me keeping track of my own pay, wasn't able to see what I was making until like the 12th of the month, in which I'd get paid on the 16th. This one, every time you teach within a few hours and they can update it, you know you're paid. So since you're calling your schedule from week to week, from month to month, and you know that you need to, you know, have a certain amount of money you want to make, you can up your game, take classes off, what have you, but you're able to look at your pay. That's awesome. There's a message piece. Now this feedback here, area here, there's nothing here for me, and the reason for that is they've changed up their feedback a little bit. I don't think there's anything there. They've changed up their feedback a little bit. It used to be in the beginning, especially as a new teacher, they would Skype you after almost every class and just kind of get your feedback, what you can work on, things like that. But I think with so many people applying, they haven't had time to do that. So they've stopped the feedback from Magic Years per se for a while. So that's kind of, that's why it's blank. Magic Academy is just different videos that you can watch under this. Okay, so let's go back to Book Now. So I want to talk about this portion of this piece that you're going to be using. As you can see, I have been with them since August. It has been a very slow go because in the beginning, as a freshman teacher that you start off with, you aren't given very many slots to open because they want you to master the classroom, the portal, okay, the platform. And trust me on this, it is an adjustment, but it is awesome. It's so much fun. You don't even realize you're teaching. You will never look at the clock to say, when am I done? If anything, you're like, I better hurry up. So that's a nice problem. So that's why I am only at 57 classes, because I don't book that, I don't open that many. Because of my personal schedule, my time zone now, the time has changed. The latest I can teach, I'm going to show you here, is 6 a.m. during the week. So what happens for me typically is I open 5:30, 6 o'clock, but right here you can see I didn't open anything here. We have just gotten back from vacation. I had been sick. I wanted to kind of start back slow. And so this is kind of the gist of what I open each week. As you can see, it's not a ton. And so I want to talk about this portion, and I excuse this video for being long, but I kind of want to be as thorough as I can visually so you can see, for those of you that haven't applied or are thinking of applying or whatever. So where it says finished is where I've finished my classes. Now I will open typically, like I said, 5:30 and 6 o'clock, okay? Obviously, I'm able to, these gray ones just mean the time has passed. Now, if a section did not get booked, it will end up just gray with nothing there. Oops. I'll show you that in a second. And so, like I said, as you can see, as you rank up to benchmark or junior teacher, more spots will be open. But I will tell you in the beginning, you have to get through the first 10 before you possibly rank up. And when you rank up, you get an increase in your pay, by the way. And then every 6 months, when you re-sign your contract, there is a raise. So that's amazing. So once you do that, I recommend that you don't sign back-to-back or open back-to-back bookings in the beginning, just because you do want to master your time. And I'm going to show you a lesson example in a little bit. But you want to master your time, because it's 25 minutes and you have 2 minutes if you do back-to-back to get to the next class. That's, I mean, you have 5 minutes, but if you don't finish right at the 25 mark, which I never do, it's getting too close for you to get into the next class, and you don't want to be late to the next class because that could take that extra $1 away. So we'll talk about that. Okay, so here's roughly what I open each week. Roughly, what? 18 classes a week, roughly. Now, what happens is you're going to see here these red booked sections. Now, 24 hours in advance, for the most part, is when you'll be notified if you have a class. And that notification will come in an email. It will say your class will start soon, and it's for the next day. So it's 24 hours is basically. Now, I have seen, and I don't know if there are glitches or whatever, where it's like they throw one in. So the night before, I always check just to make sure. But typically they give you 24 hours to prep. Okay, so I can look at this and I can go, okay, ooh, I got all these booked, okay. And again, I'm a junior teacher, so when you're a junior teacher, 50%, if not more, of your bookings will be booked. So many people coming from other companies, and I get it completely, you're freaked out about not getting booked. I promise you, no matter what ranking you are, no matter how soon you start, you will be booked. Every ranking, that as you continue to rank up, the more percentage of your booking. For example, I forgot what freshman is, but I will tell you in the beginning, I was always booked. It might not have been every single booking I opened, but I was always booked. I never didn't have classes, okay? Now, obviously, the more you open, the more you're going to get booked. So for me, if I only open 18, I'm a junior teacher now, so 50% of my bookings should be, or openings should be booked. So that's roughly, if I open 18, I should have at least 9. But it's always more than that, because as a junior, it's 50% ranking. When you get up to senior, I want to say it's 80, and then when you're Magic Master, every single opening you open is booked, literally everyone. And I can honestly say this is true. This has happened. Like I said, if I average 18 openings a week, I typically get about 11 or 12. So it's pretty good. Now, these are red. You can see these are red. Hope you can follow my mouse. But those are not necessarily what I'm going to be teaching. For example, for, what is this? For Friday, I am not guaranteed right now that all 3 of these are going to be booked. I will wait until Thursday night or Thursday to get the email saying you will be teaching these classes. That way I can go in, I can prepare, which there's nothing much to prepare other than some props, which is a minimum of 2, and stuff like that. So you will notice, especially if you're a newer teacher to Magic Years, when you start opening all these up, a lot of people go, oh my gosh, I got booked, and they're all red, and you're super happy. And then they come off, and then people are like, what happened? What did I do? Da, da. They'll bounce around, is what's going to happen. It is computer generated. So it is not parents picking you, which is nice. It's not Magic Years picking you. It's literally based off your ranking, computer, like formula, basically. So that's kind of how that works. Now, as you can see, for me, like I said, 6 o'clock is the latest that I can teach in the morning, which is a big bummer. And Mountain Time, we change the clocks, da-da-da. Now, once we go change them back, it'll be a lot easier. But it is what it is right now. But I'll show you next week. And these yellow means you can open them. Gray means they're passed, and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit about that. Now, as you can see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday even, show Sunday on there. Friday, Saturday, maybe not Sunday, but Friday, Saturday, they offer evening classes. So typically, I'll try to book 6 to 7:30. And a lot of times I get them all, most of the time. So if I can teach in the evening, I love it. So the day that they offer weekday evenings, I'll be ecstatic. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm creeping up to 100, and that's my goal right now. As you can see, I taught 57 classes and 188 students, and that's just because for the most part, it's a 1 versus 4 platform. And it sounds intimidating, and it is in the beginning in a little bit, but it will become a breeze, I promise. I'm type A, and I freak out easy. Any of you on this page that knows me knows that. It will get easy. Okay. So that's a little bit about that. Now, it used to be that in the beginning when you're hired, when you're a freshman, until you teach 10 classes, you wouldn't be able to apply for these standbys, okay? And again, standbys are teachers got sick, family got sick, emergencies, da-da-da. We need you ASAP to grab a class. Basically what this is, for example, I can say, I can click on it and I can apply for it. And basically what that means is tomorrow I need to be up and ready by 5 a.m. Well, 5 minutes before 5 a.m. I need to Skype them and say, I'm here for standby. If they say, I don't need you, you just got $5 just for opening that standby. Now you have to be available and be ready to teach without prepping. But that's just like a part-time, anywhere else in the ESL or whatever. If they need you, they'll say, okay, jump into class, and you get your base pay per class plus $2 for applying for that standby. So it's more than you typically would get for a regular class. Okay, so I'm pretty sure now as a newer teacher you can do that, but it used to not be like that. So there are some, I think, question answers on standbys, but that's the gist of that. Okay, now I want to go through this part of the portal. Okay. So workshop, this one, based off the other company, is way easier. They have so many workshops. They're great, especially for me personally, for an online platform where you have to get through all the slides. I'm pretty punctual, but when you're learning the platform, time management is key. And so there's a few workshops that I've taken, and they've been very helpful. So basically what happens is you just go through here, click on them. They'll tell you what the workshop is. Like you can see, here's some various ones. And anyway, you can always take workshops. They're wonderful. I recommend them, and I think Magic Years prefers that people do that. Okay, now my class, I want to go back. Now, they are off a star rating also, and They can give you stars, and they can also give you tags, like, you know, comment tags. Now, as you can see, a lot of people don't evaluate. Now, for me, and I know everybody, it's like 5 stars. That's the only way we're going to go is 5 stars. Da, da, da. You know, that, I mean, I put that stipulation on myself. I remember I got my first four stars, and I was freaking out. And I was like, I don't get it. You gave me 4 stars, but you got positive feedback. I just don't understand. Really, there's no explanation for it. You know, you don't know if the kid did it, parent did it, you don't really know. And a lot of times they don't evaluate. So this is the area where you will see, like, see, I got a 4 stars right there, but then they have positive. But as you can see, this is where you'll see your evaluation, and it's typically like instantaneously, but also where you will evaluate. Now, I will say this evaluation is a breeze compared to what we're probably used to. If you're with a company that you know I was with, one evaluation for one student could take you a good 15, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever, depending on how thorough you were, for every kid. And this one is not the case. A lot of people go, oh, I have to evaluate 4 now, and if I have back-to-back, I have 8 kids. Let me tell you how fast it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on, what will happen is these will be purple until you evaluate them, then they'll go muted, and that just tells you you've done it. It's complete. I will say that I think you have 12 or 15 hours to complete it, so it's not 24 hours like some of the other companies, but it's not so brutal that you want to put off like we've done in the past. Okay, so I'm going to click on it and show you how easy it is. Okay, so like other companies where we would type and, you know, throughout the thing, and you would want to type and chat with your student to kind of help yourself remember what the lesson was, this one has it laid out all for you. Okay, what were your keywords? It tells you, because you have 4 students, where were they sitting, so you kind of visualize, which I still struggle with that sometimes, but which kiddo was who, and yada yada. Okay, so basically this is literally what it is. You choose 2 canned comments about their performance. Right here, you give a sentence or 2 about something positive they did. For example, it was so nice to have you in class today, Leo. You participated a great deal, and you did exactly what the teacher asked you to do. Well done. Thank you for showing me your cool blanket. Because a lot of times they'll bring props to class that match what we're talking about. And then down here, I kind of keep it generic. I'm basically reiterating what we did in class, and then I might give an activity like, you know, what we did, we learned the vocabulary, and then I just said, have fun singing the song to practice your different fingers. Because we talked about mommy finger, daddy finger. They're lessons that you're probably not using. But that's the gist of it. And it literally is bam, 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 bam. And I know that Magic Ears Nick, he's the big guru, tech guru at Magic Ears. He's a teacher, but he created the app. He's creating an app for Magic Ears. And he made up blah, blah comments. He's the one that created that. And that's kind of a place where you can, it matches all the Magic Ears lessons, but you can use it for any ESL company. But there is a fee, I believe, a small fee. I want to say it's like $5 a month or something like that. But for me, because I'm used to another company where it's very tedious, this was nothing. So that is the feedback, folks. That is basically it. I will show you my pay slip. It's not a secret like other companies. I want to keep in mind, like I said, I have not been there that long. I have not been opening very many because of being sick, and then there's this whole process getting going because I was working at another company 5 days a week, and so it wasn't allowing me to do hours with Magic Ears, so that's that. I only want to show you this because as you teach a class, you're able to look to see what you're getting. So as you can see here, I have taught, you know, this many classes, $10 per class. Bonuses, you get, like right here, you get $1 because you're early, which is so easy. That's an extra $12. I know it doesn't sound a lot, you guys, but it adds up. And then if I did the peak incentive, which I don't because I don't open 60, if you open 60 peak slots a month, you get an additional $1. It's amazing. I haven't taken it up on that, but then it starts breaking it down. So you can look all the time and go, okay, what did I teach and am I getting what I'm supposed to? If you see a discrepancy, email them, they fix it. From what I've heard, I've never had to do that, but some people have because, you know, it's technology. And they've been wonderful about it. So that's the gist of this portion. Okay, now again, when you get your contract and everything like that, you click here, and all you do is click on that, and it literally copies it for you. Okay, I know the other companies some of us worked for, you kept changing, and then you were wondering, and you know, you don't have to worry about that. So that is very nice. All right, now I hope you can see this up here, but it's a bunny. Now, the bunny is the one that's fine. That is the one you will click on to enter your classroom. Now, obviously right now, this is just tomorrow because only one of them has been booked. Now, I may get a last minute, but I'm not really worried about it. I might get in there, teach my 5:30 class, and then in the morning, even if my 6 o'clock doesn't get booked, it'll become a standby. I'll click on it because I'll be up anyways, grab it if I need to. So it's really nice. So basically, the bunny, Bonnie the Bunny, is where you'll click, and that is where you enter your interviews, that's where you'll enter your demo, that's where you'll enter your classes, to preview your classes, yada, yada. Now, what happens in here is it tells you your time, which I love, and their time, and then the topic, foods and colors for tomorrow for me. Got 4 kiddos. They try to give you names for everybody. Talks about the ages. They're pretty accurate. This is new. They started posting the objective, but you can preview it. Now, when you're actually getting ready to get into a training or get into a training, anyway, if you do trainings, I'm thinking of another word. Anyway, or a trial or whatever, this is where it'll say preview until up to 10 minutes before, and then it will turn green and it will say, and then it will be a clock that counts down. So you'll know you're in the right spot. But it won't turn green until 10 minutes before whatever you've got going. So I want to show you an example of a lesson, you guys, okay? Okay, so every time you log in, and I always recommend, I'll show you the testing in a little bit. So as you can see here, here's what it looks like. I can always check out to see prior to class what my background's gonna look like. Okay, so here's the basic thing. This is kind of where you're just like, hello, introducing, yada, yada. This thing doesn't work right now, but it's an interactive mode. And basically when you click this one with 3 people, that makes your face come right to the screen, right in the middle, where Bonnie is here. And your face gets big, your background gets big, it's just you're better seen. And then when you are introducing students, you pull them up. You literally, they'll be down on the bottom. I don't have a video to show you because they don't keep recordings like the other company did, but your kids will be sitting down here. 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes. And you just click and drag them up, and then they'll get big. And then you basically just like, hello, hi, nice to meet you, what's your name? Now you don't get into how old are you, yada, yada. They don't want you to do that. They just want you to be like, hi, what's your name? Just quickly introduce. So this is a page where you just introduce, okay? Put them back down, grab the next one, yada, yada. Okay, another thing you can see on this right under my face here is they tell you what to do. So obviously you don't want to be reading it during the lesson, but as you're prepping, you can see what it says. And it also tells you kind of roughly how much time you should spend on this slide. Now, rule of thumb, being that you need to stay on time, you can see over here, it says 1 out of 25. So that means there's 25 slides that I have to get done in 25 minutes. 28 minutes, but that's cutting it. It shouldn't be longer than 28. Then it will give you a couple minutes to get in your next class. You don't want to be late to your next class if you do a book back to back because that's another $1. So you don't want to do that. So you'll see the timer right here. It's counting up. Now I will say this. As a general rule of thumb, if I'm on slide 1, I should be around 1 minute, something like that. So you kind of keep that. If it's a lesson that has like 45 slides, obviously you can't do that, but it's a rough estimate. Okay. One thing I love about this company is their interactive lessons. Never one time have I ever been bored in the lesson. Never one time have I ever looked at the clock and said, ugh, when are we done? Because it's, you know, it's so interactive. It's actually like, I need to hurry it up. But you don't want to hurry to where it's just, you're just, you know, spitting stuff out. But you just want that time management. And it takes time. It takes time. I've taught in the brick and mortar for 18 years. This is nothing like it. It's just a totally different adjustment. So don't beat yourself up. It's just an adjustment. But I want to show you, there's video, there's audio. It's pretty So as you can see, it is pretty, and you're dancing back here. Now a lot of you are asking me, and they're short. We'll see. I really hope you're all able to see this screen. Anyway, so for the most part, they're pretty short. In Magic Years, you never skip a lesson or never skip a slide. So anyway, so then on this screen, I'm just taking you roughly through a lesson. You just basically tell them fruit and color, just kind of say a few comments, just briefly introduce it. I will say up here, Magic Years is very big, especially when they were doing feedback, huge on noise. So if there's a child that is making way too much noise, or their mic is making too much noise, or their parents making too much noise, or whatever it is, you want to cover yourself and mute them. And you have the control to mute them. There'll be a little microphone, you mute them, and you go up here, you can't see it, but it will say help. And there's a drop down, and basically you just say background noise, you click the student that's making the noise, they'll send them a quick report, tell them fix your noise, yada yada. There's various things that you can report. Sometimes you see parents in the background. They don't want parents in the background. If you see a person in the background, help, more than one person in the camera, da, da. It covers your basis. If you have 4 students and 4 parents are paying pretty good money for this lesson, and one kiddo is so loud that the other child can't learn, they've now just possibly lost business because of the other kiddos. So that's, I think, what they're big on, and just same thing with the camera. You see any nudity or, you know, someone walking around in a nightgown or something like that, that's not the child, you can also turn off their camera. So you still see them, but the other kids don't see them. So stuff like that. So that's awesome. This right here, you can mute everybody. I don't typically do that unless you want to mute everybody and pull kids up one at a time to see who's making the noise. Now, typically, you can see who's making the noise because the little volume bar will, you know, show bars and things like that. So you can kind of see it that way. The only thing that I recommend you not do is, you know, you're doing the lesson, and I've even done it on accident, where I'm like, everybody, colors, and everybody's muted at the bottom, and you're like, good job, but you heard nobody. You were just looking at their mouse. They don't want you doing that in the event that they said it wrong. So keep that in mind. Again, this is an adjustment. I personally just mute people individually. Okay, this little award thing is just like our other company. They do recommend, though, that you give, for the most part, you give students awards individually. It's usually after like, read together or practice together or something like that. You can really give them when you want, but they don't recommend you give them like 25 or something like that. And everybody should be around the same amount, but I'll tell you kind of when I give them. All right, and then, like I said, the interactive mode. All right, so then I'm just gonna quickly go through here. You can start seeing it's little pieces at a time. I might have them quarterly read it. I might pull kids up at a time and, you know, have them do it. I'm just gonna go through here really quick. Then they isolate vocabulary words, but you can see it's very interactive. Right, this page, when you start seeing the 2 muted boxes, that is where you go to interactive mode right here. Okay, That interactive mode means your face is going to be on one side and the kiddos is going to be on the other side, and you are nice and big and they are nice and big and yada yada. It's also cool to do interactive mode, even not on this page. If you have a prop and the kid has a prop that matches yours, it's cool to kind of showcase them. That's what those pages are for. This, if you come to this, you click play. This is what I'm talking about with it being loud. I don't know if you can hear it, and just interactive. That will be the same lesson. I mean, that will be the same over and over. So, for example, if it's fruit, you do it again, it's not gonna change. So you don't waste your time on that. And this is gonna be like over people's head right now, but I just want to kind of walk you through what these lessons look like. So you can see they really isolate. The ones that are in red, they want you to really bring those home and really focus on them. I did want to say one thing about this pen. I can draw on this, and it's an imaginary pen, so it disappears. So if you want your pen to not disappear, highlight it so it's purple, and then you can actually underline. This one is only red right now. People are recommending that they give us more colors, but for now, that's what it is. So as you can see, and then it's just one at a time. And what I do is you can move your box around too. Like you're like, okay, now get a kiddo, and put them here, put them up here, and then put yourself underneath or whatever, and be like, I like it, things like that. Now some of you are saying, I'm not that animated, you guys. I am. It doesn't seem like it, but behind a computer. But I'm pretty introverted, and when you watch YouTube videos and everybody's like, over the top, especially with one company over another one. But people have big personalities. Not everybody has that personality, and they don't expect everybody to have that personality. But, when you're with a kiddo, if you're working with another company and nobody's ever said bring more passion, then you're going to be okay. You don't have to be. I always recommend be you. Don't be somebody else. I'm definitely not over the top. But TPR, yada yada. We'll go through some other things. I'm trying not to make this super long, but I did want to show you this because I don't think there's a lot of videos that go over everything like I'm doing because it's a lot of information. But I'm just going to run through this really quickly. As you can see, there's that interactive mode again. Okay, so basically this is talking in Chinese, and so it's giving the kids directions. And basically what it's saying is every kid is going to, one kid will be purple, one will be green, yada yada, and they're basically clicking and going, okay, red picture to the red word, and then they're playing a game. And so that's what that is. You won't always see that one. All right, so it goes through, as you can see, this is slide 16. I can't skip right to 25. That's one thing you can't do here. Then there's games. You turn off the pen so it's interactive, but for example, I would click on Bonnie, she'd run, a question would come up. Okay, whoops. And sometimes too, like it'll tell you to slow down. Nobody's here, but let's see. Oh, question. And then the kid should be like, red, and you're like, okay, good job, yeah. And then whoever said it, you might click on it and put the question, yellow, blah, 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 blah. When they get to the end, they get an award, something like that. So it's very interactive. Games, yada, yada. Okay, this right here is role playing. And this is where you'll drag two kids up and they role play. One kid will say, what color is it? And the next color, it's green. So they play, and I've just now started to, always opposite, but like you're talking to the person next to you, or you move yours. So you're totally, interacting with them. Sometimes I'll be like, if the kid's not paying attention, I get on top of them when they're below me, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you. So if you move yourself around, it keeps their attention. Every screen or every lesson will have a let's play, and they're all different. I haven't even looked at this one, to be honest. Okay, so this one is just same thing like we just kind of did. The kids get to pick a banana. It's a question. It's just really review. So a lot of these lessons, you guys, are very repetitive. There's not a lot of content, but it's very much review. Again, this is role play. And sometimes you'll get these up here where they will remind you that the next lesson or the next slide is the goodbye song. and yada yada. Now I want you to pay attention here. Obviously I'm going way faster because I'm doing this video, but I'm at 12 minutes right now and I'm already on slide 22. At that point you would definitely see the message pop up that you're going too fast. It's not anyone doing it, it's just a cam thing because nobody's watching right now. It's just kind of automatic. All right, so on the next slide, you always have a goodbye, and most of the time it's a video. So let me let you listen. I'm afraid that important. Oh, there's that finger one.
Where are you? Here I am, how do you do?
Mommy finger, where are you?
Anyway,
Here I am,
it's not really a goodbye song, but it's just kind of something to break the ice and kind of close it up. All right. Okay. So this screen is, it's not all the time either, but basically you pull all the kids up and it's like, you know, this, you want to be aware of which, once you guys get going, you'll get used to the different slides and if they take a little bit longer. So if you're running out of time, it's like, okay, you can't skip anything, but you gotta kind of speed it up. So basically you pull the kids up one by one. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I pull them up one by one, but I award it one time. So basically I'll say, Teacher Christy, what number do you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And they pick one and say, I want number 1. I just put it right here. Pull the next kid up, ask them, yada, yada. They did change it up to Christmas. A friend of mine had said, change it for Christmas. So they totally did. But normally for Halloween, they changed it. So that was cool. They listen to you. It's so much like a family. It's crazy. But once everybody's up here, then you click this button and I just go, you know, choosing like that. Something I would never do in front of all of you if I was with you. Kids are it's a lot easier. And then on the last page, which sometimes you want to, some people say in some of the trainings, they'll say, go to the last page, the review page, because that's roughly going to tell you the focus of the lesson. So what I do, especially if I'm out of time, is I'll pull a kiddo's square up and I'll be like, red, shh. Next kiddo, fruit. You know, I'll kind of do that because you don't want to skip this. And then basically that's it. And then you basically say goodbye. You do this interactive. They do want you doing the interactive goodbye. You get bigger, pull kids up one at a time. Goodbye, high five, blow kiss, whatever. And then literally say goodbye, exit out. That's it. And then at that point, I go back into the this piece, the t.mmears.com, and that is where I go right to my class and I go right to the feedback. So that's the portal. That's a lesson. Trying to think what other people were asking. Let me talk about a few things. Let me get bigger here. How do I do that? Here we go. So a few things that I do like. I mean, I still can use Manicam, as you can see. This morning I did a lesson on drawing, so that's why I kind of put the frame around here. Lighting, they're very big on lighting. My lighting was awful with the other company. Never did I know that. Now I have a few lights on me. There's a lot of people that do different things that have way better lighting than I do even. So they're good with the lighting. So requirements are, oh, that's what I was going to do. I wanted to show you. Let me share screen again. Okay. All right, I wanted to show you this here. Okay, so some qualifications, and this is probably an old document, so don't quote it exactly, but you do have to be from the US or Canada. It is not an ethnicity thing, so it's just the native language from US or Canada. You need to have an ESL certificate. I know recently, with the companies that we were from, they are now making that a requirement. I think that's just a Chinese thing, you know, or this ESL rule, I don't know. But you now, I know they're requiring degrees and your ESL. So you have to have an ESL certificate. They do like you to have experience. You will get more base pay if you do have experience. And you need to have a degree, a bachelor's degree. I've heard if you're working on one, They may qualify you, but you'd have to see. Let's see. Now, so let's go over this. So base pay is $9 per class. That's not having all the requirements. Now, I've taught for 18 years. I worked with another online ESL, which is not necessary, but I have the Esl Certificate and I have my degree. So I have a couple degrees, but that's not a requirement. So that being said, I do $10 per class. If I log in early, which is literally no later than 8 minutes before my class, the first class, that's another $1. If I open up 60 slots per month, even if they're not booked, but they're peak time, that's another $1. So you have potential to get $22 an hour right out of the gate. Okay, so keep that in mind. Every 6 months there's a raise. Every ranking up there's a raise. After you get to Magic Master or 200 classes, you get to apply for secondary positions, which is even more money. So Magic Gears, one thing I love about them is that the reason they are so efficient at getting back to people is because when they're sleeping in China, they have teachers working the Facebook page and answering questions. So you're never like, nobody hears me. Awesome. It's awesome. I don't know if this is updated. They just added peak time. So if you're in a certain, probably Eastern Standard especially, you got way more hours, especially if you're an early bird, a lot more hours that you can apply for. Obviously good internet. Skyping, they communicate via Skype and on their, email and then on their Facebook page. I want to talk about the rankings. These are the basically bottom lines that they want everybody to follow. Okay, and this is what they do look at for you ranking up. The noise policy, they want you to stay on top of that. Never skip slides, or do finishing on time, make sure you're not late for classes. Hey, energetic, you guys, this is not over the top. I am not over the top. And it's working. Good lighting, obviously your background. Nothing is special with mine. I haven't gotten it the way I like it just yet. 2 relevant prompts. I don't recommend you do over the top prompts because when you're first learning, it's way too much to juggle. I remember I had every prop for everything when I first did my demo, and I couldn't even, I was dropping things. I just don't recommend it. And then obviously stable internet. They do recommend a physical Ethernet, but again, that's up to you. Okay, I did want to get to the point of freshman teacher. So if you're a junior, okay, senior rank will get 80%. I think I said that earlier. If you're junior, I get 50%. I forget what freshman is, but like I said, you're a freshman teacher for 10 classes. Some of you will bust that out in a week. That took me a long time because I was with the other company. And then, like I said, once you are a Magic Master, you get to 100%. If you open 60 slots, you got 60 bookings. It's crazy. You'll never be without bookings, I promise. Anyway, so that's the long and the short of it. I hope, how do I stop? Oh, there I am. So I hope that helps. And, like I said, people are asking me what do I like about it. There's so much, and I mean, I've tried to do a comparison from both companies that I was working with, but in a nutshell, I love that they're family oriented. They support you. You're sick, no penalties, no doctor's note. Obviously, don't abuse it. But I mean, like I said, I've been having a respiratory thing for about 2 weeks, and I couldn't stand here and talk for sure. And they were fabulous. And I literally had to wake up at like 4 in the morning and say, I can't make my 5 o'clock in the morning class. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Take care of it. They're very supportive that way. You don't have to worry about getting bookings, even in the beginning. They have a website for merchandise, not so much Bonnie's and like characters, but clothes. So there's all sorts of colors. It's not just purple. There's pink. People do yellow. I think I've seen orange. All the characters on a shirt. You can put your name on a shirt. But they will reimburse you for a basic Magic Gear shirt. I don't have it with me. It's hanging on my door, but they'll reimburse you for that. Let's see. Like I said, 6 months, you get a raise. When you rank up, you get a raise. Secondary positions I love. There's various secondary positions. Like I said, that's why they're able to get back. So many people get support because there's teachers that are running their Facebook pages. And people are doing videos. People are doing. I mean, there's so many things. And then there's every month. There's usually an incentive. There's always an incentive. I want to say, what was the incentive the last October and November? I want to say if you opened 100 classes, booked or not, in addition to the incentives they already have, it was another, it was $1 for every opening. So if you opened 100, you got $100 extra. It was crazy. Now I didn't do that because it would be my luck that I would, get booked at 1 in the morning. So, but anyway, there's so many things that I like about them. Like I said, they're encouraging. It's crazy. I mean, there's been people that are having babies and they're just like, welcome to the family. There's been deaths and people are getting flowers. It's insane. And I love it. The other thing is they pay in U.S. money. They pay on time. The last 2 months, I've gotten paid 3 days early. No kidding. What they say you're going to get paid is what is in my bank account. What else was I going to say? Yeah. Oh, and they have a Nashville office. They just opened a Nashville office. They're 2 years old. They just turned 2. So it's newer, but it's growing by the day. The reason they're getting more students is because their classes are a little bit cheaper because they're doing a 1 versus 4 versus 1-on-1. So they are getting a lot of students. So they need teachers. And if you want to apply, they are fast tracking teachers. So I'm not 100% sure what all that takes place, but I do know that it's fast tracking. So you're able to skip certain things, and they say you can actually be teaching a class and contracted within 48 hours if everything goes well, if they choose to fast track you. And a lot of you that have applied under me have been fast tracked. So that's a huge compliment. I wasn't, so I'm not bragging. They didn't have that at the time, but not everybody gets that, and it's okay. As long as you're hired, that's what matters. And then if you don't get hired right away, I think they say wait 90 days, something like that. In the event you apply under me and you don't hear from them, check your spam and everything like that. Sometimes it's Magic Year, sometimes it comes under communication, sometimes it might be a name like Frank at Magic Years or something like that. But anyway, I hope this helps. It's a lot of information, but I wanted to give you guys a visual. If there's any other questions, please message me. Use my code if you're interested, and I'd love to help you. So I will see everybody soon, and have a great day. Bye. Happy holidays.